Good morning. I hope you're all well. I want to continue today to talk one more day about the message of the Shofar. With only 9 days till Rosh Hashanah, there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of preparation to make sure that we're going to Rosh Hashanah with a proper mindset and with the proper amount of work behind us and under our belt in order to be able to stand before God and ask for blessings for a good year. So I spoke yesterday about how the Shofar is really a means of being able, or the message is to provide us with a means and the inspiration to transform our own personal, call it a horn, call it whatever part of our personality that gores other people or causes harm or puts other people on defensive or damages others. And to be able to transform that into something that actually makes music and is inspiring to others and uplifts them and gives them chizuk and strength. So I want to talk a little bit today about how do we do that? Because most people are really, I wouldn't say stuck in their ways, but it's very difficult to change. And it's very easy just to stay in our place, wherever we might be, and to just be complacent or see that it's not really necessary for me to make any changes. And until we realize that in some ways our complacency is causing other people problems or discomfort or embarrassment or real hurt and pain, then we're not really motivated to change. But what happens once we think about it and we realize that perhaps we do need to change, not only because we want to be better people, but because we find out that we speak to our spouse, we speak to our friends, we speak to our employees, and find out that in certain ways, we really do rub people the wrong way. Most people who have bad traits don't think of themselves as bad people. Most people just look at themselves and say, listen, this is me, and I have a lot of good parts, and I have a couple of bad parts. But they don't realize the full impact of their behavior as it goes around in terms of the people that they touch during the course of the day. But let's say we got to that point and we realize that, all right, I got to change. It's very difficult to change something and to make it into something else. Now let's take a look at the shofar. Shofar, as you know, is bent. Now, I haven't seen any animals that have horns that look like this. The fact is that all shofars have to be bent. That's part of the halacha. Jewish law states that they cannot just be taken off the animal the way they are, cleaned out, and start to blow. No, they have to be bent. You can't take a straight horn off of an animal. You can't take even a bent horn straight off the animal, just the way it is. Why does that have to be bent? Because that really is part and parcel of the whole message of the shofar. We have to bend ourselves. We have to learn how to change ourselves. What does bending mean? Bending means that we want something, and somewhere inside we know that that is not the right thing to want. Or we know that that's not something that's good for us, or it's not good for others, or it's not something that we should be saying or doing because it's causing pain to others. And the people have told us that perhaps. As a result, we have to bend. Bending means holding back from doing something that we know we shouldn't be doing, or bending our will to do something right and good that we really normally wouldn't be doing. So bending takes place in two ways: to hold back from something negative and to do something good that we normally wouldn't do. Now, how do you bend? Especially if you know you have a big horn that's the elephant in the room that you want to change. And it's very hard to do that. Well, I suggest, first of all, that we learn how to bend the small things in our life. Because sometimes if we try to bend the big things, we get very frustrated because it's not only it's hard, it can be painful inside. And we'd rather avoid that type of pain. Not only that, but sometimes we don't even know whether or not we have the talent, the skill, the ability, the background to know how to bend ourselves and what it means to bend ourselves. How to practice self-control, how to have Kabbalah soil and accept upon ourselves a yoke from God that this is not permissible behavior, or this is not something I should be doing. So bending in the small things in life is also significant for two reasons. Number one, it's part of the journey to bend the small things and then get to the big things. But also, once we learn how to have the skill of bending and we have the nachas from realizing that we actually did succeed in bending a part of us. And we feel that sense of inner accomplishment, that we actually do have the ability to exercise self-control. Then we can take that self-control and we can start to expand it to a bigger challenge, and then a bigger challenge, and a bigger challenge, until we actually get to the big things. It's 9 days for Rosh Hashanah. I don't know that we have the time to start bending the real big things in our life so quickly, especially if they're really deeply rooted and ingrained in our psyche, in our being, in our personality. But the small things in life, those things that we know we could control, and that we could make a statement, and we could call ourselves on the spot, as far as making sure that I'm not going to do this because I know it's the wrong thing. Whether it be a wrong thing according to halacha from God's perspective, or a wrong thing because people are ticked off by it and they don't like it and it rubs them the wrong way. Either way, and for sure, if it's something that the Torah says is wrong, either way, we have to learn that talent of self-control. It's not an easy talent to have, but it is a unique gift which God gave to us, to human beings, and especially also to the Jewish people, because we have so many rights and wrongs. We have to exercise and fine-tune that art of self-control, that ability to be able to bend even to a greater degree. Because there are so many halachas, so many things that Torah helps us to lift ourselves up as a chosen people, to refine ourselves even to a higher level than usual. So as a result, pick something. Ask somebody, maybe your spouse, maybe your good buddy, maybe your therapist, maybe a friend, whoever it might be, a coworker. Ask them, can you think of something small that I could fix, that I think I could really have within my target range to succeed in, and do it. Not like a New Year's resolution or a birthday resolution. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to start going to the gym. Pick a small thing that you know is within reach and keep it and be serious about it. And when, in these 9 days before Rosh Hashanah, if you appear before God on Rosh Hashanah and you say to God, listen, I know I got big stuff to handle. I know I have a lot of things to bend like that shofar, and I have only just started. But I succeed at least in one thing, so I know that I have the ability to bend. And I ask for a bracha, for blessing and for strength, that this year I should really be able to bend step by step greater and greater. Because that gift that you gave me, God, to be able to change, I know that animals don't have it. I know that trees don't have it. I know that stones don't have it. Stars don't have it. Nobody has it except for a human being. The ability to bend ourselves, to change ourselves, to be better than who we are, and better than what we seem to have been made to be by our environment and by our genetics. And that's a gift that we don't want to give up, and we don't want to lose it, and we don't want to ignore it, because that gift gives us the ability to really fulfill our true potential in terms of our relationship with God, in terms of our relationship with our community, with our spouses, with our family, and everybody around us. Because when they see that we're bending and we're making that effort to be the best we can be, then they respond in kind also. All of them, from God all the way down to our children, respond in kind because they see there's a person who appreciates the ability to bend and is willing to go through the self-sacrifice of really doing it. So, Hatzlacha Rabba, may God give you strength to bend like the shofar. Sometimes, just as a footnote, a shofar, in order to be able to bend, needs a lot of soaking, because by nature the horn is very hard. So we have to soften up. The soaking is for what? For soaking up. Doesn't mean going to the bath and sitting there for 20 hours. It means softening up our positions, realizing that there are other ways of looking at situations, being able to accept that maybe the way I see things is not the only way that exists. And maybe there are even better ways to do things than the way I do things. When we soften up, then we can start to bend. Take care. Have a great day. And I hope you can bend a little today so that tomorrow you're going to be a better person than you were today. Bye.